WIFTVPN.
Get your savings coupon from participating Great Clip salons and save 20% on select tickets. See savings coupon for restrictions and details. Coming to Allstate Arena February 25th through 27th.
I don't know what you did, but you did it right. Girl, you make it look so easy. Everywhere you go, heads turning left and right. Can't say you a dime, you're a 20-piece. Cause girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me don't let you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you. Every day I'm your body, got not over my dead body. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put that grown on. Why you gotta look so good, with your hair done, nails done, when you put that grown on, girl. Why you gotta look so good? I can look and see you're not an average chick. You're shutting it down everywhere you go. Girl, I want you as bad as I want a check. Cause you're sexy from head to toe. Girl, you're the reason I be acting funny. Everything in me telling me don't let you get away. And all the guys looking like they wanna love you. Every day I'm your body, got not over my dead body. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, nails done, when you put your grown on. It's something about you when you put your clothes on. Oh, when you're waking up straight out of bed, girl, why you gotta look so good? Oh, when you're at the job just taking a break, girl, why you gotta look so good? In the club turning up, why you gotta look so good? On the dance floor, giving more. Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good? Girl, you know you be killing them when you be getting your own woman on. Why you gotta look so good? With your hair done, your nails done, when you put that grown on, girl, why you gotta look so good? Girl, why you gotta look so good? Why you gotta look so good?
Taking my life to the next level. I can do anything, I can do anything. On point, on fleek, looking incredible. I can do anything, I can do anything. It's time to shine as I live my life. Cause the dreams are high. Turn up my life. I can do anything. It's time.
Yes, yes, yes. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Turn Up Life. I'm Aziza Lisa here with my co-host, Sister Africa in the house. With the royal blue and the red, rocking it.
Yes, always rocking it.
Sunday, everybody.
The A is back.
Yes.
Like she never
I
left.
so miss y'all.
Oh my God. It feels so good when the energy, when everybody's here. We still missing our sister Kendra,
Yes,
but she will be
yes,
back.
yes,
Love
yes.
Kendra, love.
Yes,
Yes. And also with us, of course, Miss Nafisha Sarah.
Keisha Sarah. In the flesh. It is I. Hey, everybody.
Man, I know this is Super Bowl Sunday. I know you all are getting ready, for the whole Super Bowl piece, but we still had to do our show. So thank you for those that are tuning in. For sure, we actually got a great show planned for you guys. So lots of information and some great special guests. So I'll start off with our quote of the day. And of course, we're rocking a little red because we got Valentine's Day tomorrow,
Love is in the air.
Yeah. But of course, we're celebrating more so right now Black History
That's
Month.
right. That red and that red, black, and
That
green.
red and that red, black, and green, yes. What's that doing? Absolutely. So one of the first quotes actually came from one of our special guests that'll be on today, Professor Kim Delaney. So I told you guys last show how I am about stuff coming up in my feed. I love the pictures. Everybody looks wonderful. Can you hear me, Reese?
One of y'all phones is on.
Somebody's phone is on. Okay, let me see what's going on. Okay, that was probably me. Sorry.
Sorry, she's not that kind.
I'm the culprit. Okay. So, yeah, but I told you all how I am. I love the pictures. Everybody looks fabulous. So it's always great to see our friends and our families on social media, and they're looking just wonderful and looking healthy and fly and fine and all that. So I always love I love to see that. But I also really love when people are feeding you something for the mind.
That's right.
Giving you information or just a quote or something that'll inspire you and motivate you. That's just me. That feeds me.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
just me?
it does.
Like-
I'm all about the quote. It's
Oh, yeah.
inspirational.
They life-changing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they make you feel better and make you want to do more.
Yes, absolutely.
And sometimes it just happen to come at the most appointed time. You're like,
You know,
I needed that.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
It
So
always
this one
comes
is
the right
from
time.
Professor Kim Delaney, and she says, "I try my best to keep my promises." This was her part of it. She tries her best to keep her promises, as I'm sure most of us do.
Yes.
But she said, "I've never seen anything that costs more than a broken one."
Say that one more time.
I've never seen anything that costs more than a broken one, than a broken promise.
We got in the
Okay.
promise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And everything is costly because of how it can hurt someone,
Yeah.
how it can affect someone else's time. Just based on what it is that you've promised, you don't know how you can affect someone else based on you saying what you're going to do and then you don't follow through. Yeah. So.
There's a video trending right now.
Okay.
I think I sent it to you all during the week. It's Common.
Okay.
And it's different expose videos that they've compiled into one where he's sharing how his daughter, Moye, pushed him to want to get counseling together for them too, so they can have a better relationship and heal because of this exact quote. It's
Wow.
absolutely beautiful.
Isn't that
I just love the way he
something?
communicates his truth and his transparency in terms of his daughter. It's awesome.
Wow, I love it.
That's beautiful.
Now that is beautiful because transparency. Oh, that just made me think of something, and it's a little sensitive, but I'm going to say it. So, my dad just passed, of course, in September, and at his funeral, I remember stating that what I loved about my father is that he just was transparent with his life, with all of us have our shortcomings and whatnot, but we knew who my dad was. We knew just what it was, okay? And he talked with us about life, about different things, about some of the decisions that he had made that weren't the best, that affected himself as well as us. But as a result of him being transparent and talking, it also helps your child, when you're a parent and you're transparent, it helps your child to start to navigate through life. You know, because sometimes we're so busy trying to be perfect and we want our children to see this perfect image of us. But the reality is that we're not.
That's
And
right.
we need to talk with our children just about life. Wow, I went through this at a certain age. I made this bad decision.
Absolutely.
You know, I did this that was great. You know, I mean, talk about all of it so that way when they're faced with something, they're like, wow, my mom or my dad went through thus and so, and they weren't perfect either.
That's right.
You know?
I think also to your point, Z, on that note, it's like when our children are looking at us, I think it's fair and honorable to say, this is how I used to look at life. This is how I used to think. This is how I used to behave.
Yes.
I had to grow into the person I'm becoming still.
Absolutely. Yeah. So in other words, you get a pass for a lot because, I mean, we go through stages.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's true.
You know, but at the same time, allow my wisdom, my knowledge, what I'm sharing with you to hopefully help you to make better decisions.
Yes.
That's the point of it all. So,
And that comes in stages too.
Yeah.
Because of course you just don't tell everything all over. It's like everything comes
Absolutely.
at the perfect time. Like there's a time and a place.
That's right.
Yes.
To, you know, shine that type of information or just share that information on your children. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because things that are out of season, you know, they wouldn't get them anyway. So
No,
we have to
no,
watch
no.
what we say and when we say
Based
it.
on that time period and whatever they might be going through or facing.
Absolutely. Yeah. But that hit me when I saw that on her page. And mind you, she was actually my African American film studies teacher at Chicago State University. So definitely can't wait to have her on the
she's the
show.
bomb.com.
She is the bomb.
We work together on the African Affairs Committee every year. She's a delight.
Yes.
So intelligent, so connected. Just love her.
Absolutely. So she'll be on the show a little later.
Oh, good.
But let me share another one with you all before we have our first guest on, and she's another power bomb. So wow, can't wait for these guests. But also, do something today that your future self will thank you for tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that.
I like that.
And I've had that one for a minute, actually, and I keep coming back to it because it's like, you know, what you do today in this moment, it matters. Sometimes we're so quick to, I'll do that tomorrow. You know, I'll do that next week. We're always putting things off.
That we can do today.
That we can do today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, the sooner we get started, the better. Just be proud of yourself for the decisions that you're making. First of all, make the decision and do it so that you can, once again, thank your future self is not years from now. It could be tomorrow.
That's right.
Right.
Just making that step to do
Yes.
it.
Like right now, I'm thanking myself for a decision I made 13 days ago
Okay.
to get started on a cleansing and a workout that was consistent because I already knew I had been way off, you know, with my diet and my
You could
activity.
feel it.
Just I could feel it, and it affects your energy level, everything. You know, you not fitting in all the clothes you got, all your cute stuff.
That'll do it right away anyway.
That part.
Every time.
So I was like, child, let me get it together. But I've been talking about it for so long, and it's just, I still had not buckled down and did it. So now I'm thanking myself. I'm feeling great. Every day I'm writing down how many sit-ups, how many push-ups, how many, you know, leg lifts, how many of all the you know, squats that I'm doing.
Oh, good.
Because then you
I'm-
increase.
Oh,
the
and
more
I'm
you do it.
increasing. Yes. So it's a nice little number. I'll share with
Congratulations.
y'all next week. I'm going to
Okay,
keep going.
Little engine that could. I think I can.
I think I can.
I know I can.
Absolutely. So that's, hey, inspiring my other, you know, our Facebook listeners, just inspiring you all to, hey, just get on top of whatever it is you're trying to do and feel
Absolutely.
good about it.
Exactly.
So do we have Dr. Dominica
Yes.
on? Is she on? Yes. Okay. So you want to introduce her, Miss Africa?
Oh, wow. Has she popped into the queue?
Hold on one second. Okay. So we got Dr. Dominica. And we're just waiting for her to come on the screen. And this is another nonprofit. You know that we, there she is.
I can see you. Hello.
Hey, how are you? Happy Sunday.
Oh, good. Happy Sunday. It's so good to hear you all and your
Yes, thank you.
conversation.
Well, great to have you on. You know, part of our show is really about highlighting nonprofit organizations because our whole motto is to celebrate yourself, elevate yourself, and then uplift the community too.
Absolutely.
So part of that uplifting the community means recognizing nonprofit organizations that are giving back and doing major work, helping to build the community. There's a lot of us that really want to give back and help to build, but maybe we don't have time. Maybe we can give financially or just by giving our time. But then there are those who actually have created organizations, and this is their everyday or almost everyday work, and they really pour into it. And from looking at your website and your work, this is absolutely what you do. So, Sister Africa, you want to introduce Dr. Dominica?
Sure. I'm honored. Dr. Dominica and I met, it's been some years because I think Jalil was just barely walking. And we were doing some work with the late, great Philip Jackson at the Black Star Project. And we kept crossing paths. Years later, I kept up, and I saw that she was doing some wonderful, wonderful things in the space of mental health and psychotherapy. And I was like, oh, my goodness, we got to work together. So I'm just so excited. I don't want to talk too much, but just know that you need to have your pens and pads ready or your phones, have you take notes, and just be prepared because not only is she really good when it comes to the space of helping out with adolescents and children, but also adults.
Okay.
You know, some people are only good at, certain demographics or age groups. She does it all.
Yes.
And she has a great staff and a great team, and they're all around the country.
Yes.
And she has a great new initiative as it pertains to COVID and how we can all cope better.
Absolutely.
So that really stuck to me. So without further ado, Dr. Dominica McBride, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for that great introduction. It's an honor.
Thank you. Dr. Dominica, can we go right into coping with, the mental health issues, only because that is just wow right now. So many people are committing suicide, and there's so many different elements, I'm sure, that add to that. Can you just, shed some light on that based on your experience and your research?
Yeah, so first off, we have to start with pre-pandemic because there was already some major mental health issues that were happening and going unaddressed. And you, on top of an already stressful situation and already stressful life for a lot of people, then you add COVID. And COVID itself is, of course, this collective trauma in every way, individually, for the family, for the neighborhood, for our overall economic structure, for the systems that we have, or the schools, healthcare, criminal justice. Every system and every aspect of being human has been stretched through COVID. So you add that on top of an already stressful situation. And of course, you're going to get so many mental health issues along with all of the physical manifestations of stress that come along with it. But it created this tipping point, this collective tipping point for a lot of people, from losing loved ones, losing jobs, losing connection to people. That in-person connection, I think we took it for granted so much, deeply took it for granted, how impactful that is on our daily life. And for that to be, affected as well. Relationships are so important for our mental health. I mean, relationships can make or break our mental health in so many ways. And so just one thing around coping with our mental health challenges in this time is one, just the stigma around therapy, that we need to let that go. Right? Everybody, every single person can benefit from therapy. Right? It's just talking to heal, right? That we have to separate, oh, you're crazy, so you go to therapy. Okay, let's let go of the idea of crazy, let's of what that is, and then really step into the healing that we all deserve.
Absolutely.
So there's one, right? Being open to being open to stepping into that kind of relationship therapy. But say you don't have health care, right? You don't, or mental health is not as easily accessible to you. There are other ways to be able to cope in this time that are right there, that are accessible to every single one of us. Little small things, even like the breath, right? Like our breath, and being able to control our breath and deepen our breath and really start things to sit within ourselves. Even that can
Absolutely.
be a major coping mechanism in any moment, because it calms our nervous system. It calms our like racing brains. It calms that fight, flight, or freeze tendency that we get into in traumatic situations like this. So even something as small as the breath and tapping into that can help to ease and help to cope. And then other things like the relationships that we already have access to, even if we're thinking that the relationships that we have are not meeting our hopes or desires, we can change that, right? Like there's ways that we can enhance our relationships, we can deepen our relationships. There's ways we can expand our networks. But being able to and going on that path of deepening the relationships that we have, and then opening ourselves up in ways within that relationship, can also be a way to cope in ways that are already quite accessible to us now. So just a couple thoughts, but definitely have more as we talk about it. And with your discussion before I came on, where you're talking about these uplifting and provocative points of wisdom, and hearing from people that inspire us, and following some of that. You talked about integrity, or at least that's what I heard when you talked about like not breaking promises and being transparent. I heard integrity underneath that. And so tapping into that can also build up that strength. But go ahead. I'll kick it back to you. I feel like I've been talking.
No, I love it. I love your comment about looking at therapy as just talking and healing, versus you're crazy.
Right.
I think just that outlook alone, if that was promoted in our community, I think would change a lot of people's outlook on that whole piece, because there are a lot of people that don't want to, be a part of that or go to therapy because of, how that's looked at. So, and it's so needed in so many different areas, with our simple or our base of relationships, like you talked about, Common, and it started with our children, with our parents, with our friends. I mean, just, it doesn't have to be a stranger or, coworker or anything like that. These are people we deal with every day. And, of course, we want to make sure those relationships are healthy.
Absolutely. I mean, even hearing you talk about, your dad, and, after I lost my dad and then my brother so close, I started to get grief counsel, and I still do, and I'm just thankful. Yeah. And, of course, Dr. Dominica has helped me a lot as well, just with a lot of things. It's so necessary.
Yeah, and I've been hearing that. Okay, you guys just pushed me. Yes. Yeah, I need to do that.
Love you, girl.
No, but that's real talk, because, again, like you're saying, Dr. Dominica, we deal with so much. Yeah. We take in so much, and then we're taught to just be strong, to deal with it. We're going to be okay, but you're not always okay. You just put on the face that you're okay. So
the cape on and keep moving, right?
Put the cape on and keep moving, Superwoman, especially the black woman. Oh my God. We are just made to do that, and that has just been throughout, centuries. That's just been, something we've had to do. But who wants to just take on weight all the time and hold that weight? Sometimes you need to release. You have to release. So, but listen, I wanted to say, in looking at your website and seeing some of the work that you're doing, I love how you all are doing work directly with the children.
Yes.
I was reading about the young girl Tabitha that was 11, who actually stopped going outside and became reclusive and shy after she witnessed a murder 2 years ago. And based on you all, working with her as well as other youth, you were saying you help the young people to become little evaluators. And they learn to look at the goals and objectives of the programs. And then as a result of that, now they're allowed to continue to inform with future program shifts. So I thought that was big because a lot of times as adults, of course, our wisdom and our knowledge for many years, we have to take the forefront. But we can't forget about the youth. And the more we involve them, the more that they're going to heal. And then they'll help us as well based on what they're dealing with. Like we think we know what they're dealing with. But until we actually talk with them and really get them involved, they actually shed a lot of light that can help us to help them.
That's right. But we have to be willing to listen.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So,
and that's huge. That's because there's such wisdom in youth that we often don't see because we associate youth with being young, not being as knowledgeable as us. But every time I work with young people, I'm just blown away by the thoughtfulness and wisdom that they bring. In creating those little evaluators, they came up with some of the most powerful questions to drive program development and drive the data collection and drive the next transformation. And so they're just filled with wisdom and that intergenerational possibility, right? Like that intergenerational communication, intergenerational collaboration can really be transformative for our community. And I think so many of us need to start tapping into that possibility of that intergenerational wisdom and collaboration to get to our next best self as a broader community.
Yes. And I saw also where your program helps with immortality, infant immortality.
Infant mortality.
Yes, infant mortality rate. So you were in one specific community, the Auburn Gresham community, and I wanted to know, was it just in that area? I'm sure it can't just be in that area, or was that just the area where you guys did the research?
No, I mean, definitely infant mortality affects many different communities in Auburn Gresham, especially our communities, Black communities. Unfortunately, we have a higher rate of infant mortality. And it's not just because of the lack of resources. It's because a lot in large part because of the way that systemic oppression has infused in our lives and the systems in so many ways, and then therefore have damage on our bodies and weaken our immune systems and therefore affect our babies.
Wow.
And so the work, and now there's more research coming out about that, right? Like that we can't just say that it's just access to prenatal care or it's just behavior of the mothers. It's not. The broader system and the broader sociopolitical environment, there's responsibility there and there's weight there for our babies dying at higher rates than other communities, than the white community or different North Side communities. And so we in Auburn Gresham, we're actually doing is we're with the Courage to Love collaborative. We're a member of this collaborative that's working on building the love assets in the community to act as a buffer against oppression, against systemic oppression, against racism, and create that stronger immune system and that stronger network around mothers. And so we're creating what it will be like prototypes in Auburn Gresham that can be used in other communities. So Auburn Gresham is a place where we're collaborating for testing out solutions that then can be expanded.
Okay. I love it. And also I saw your quality of life planning in Inglewood. So are you trying out some of the same, programs? Are you trying that out in Inglewood as well?
Not right now. We're focusing in on Auburn Gresham. Auburn Gresham at the time has gone between, it was at the beginning of our work in Auburn Gresham. Auburn Gresham was the third highest as far as infant mortality rate in all 77 neighborhoods in Chicago. And so that was one of the reasons why we focused in Auburn Gresham, and it's vastly going higher and in that area since. And so, but in Inglewood, with the quality of life plan a few years ago, we worked with Teamwork Inglewood and residents, workers in Inglewood, and we helped to equip them with the strategic planning skills for them to lead that development effort for their quality of life plan. And it was like what came out of that process was just amazing. Like people, residents taking ownership of like violence prevention efforts and reading and educational enhancement efforts, and furthering the broader like neighborhood development. And so they blew us out of the water with how empowered they were in that process. But our hope is that through our transformation efforts in Auburn Gresham, then we'll grow what we learn there to other neighborhoods. We do a lot of work in different South and West Side neighborhoods in Chicago, but our initial like spot for testing out these prototypes for new systems and new structures that are community rooted, community driven, rooted in these love assets, that's taking place in Auburn Gresham to then expand out in the next few years.
Okay. Now, we want to announce, because we gave your name, Dr. Domenica, but we didn't say your organization. So the name of her organization is Become. And, tell people where they can find you, other than, your website as well, but just tell people where they can find you and help to donate, help to give time.
Yeah, so becomecenter.org is our website, becomecenter.org. You can also email us at info@becomecenter.org. But yes, we love to hear from you. You can also email me directly at dmcbride@becomecenter.org. And thanks so much for like opening up this space for us, and any support, and whether it's like time, we're building up even more efforts. So we want even more people to be able to learn about the initiatives that are happening in community, to be able to volunteer, to collaborate, as well as thank you to donate. So come to our site, email us. We are up for collaboration, up for unity, and up for collective transformation.
Great. And I was reading on your site where you do collab with other non-for-profits.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a nonprofit. And actually I have a program that we were just getting ready to kick off regarding, information for mothers, and not just young mothers, just mothers at any age, because I was having this conversation with someone. A lot of times when you don't know and you're older, you're ashamed to say that you don't know. So you could be a mother and say you've reared your children, but maybe you're a grandmother now. And there were some things you really didn't know when you were rearing your children, but just the basics of that first stage of the baby's life, teething, and some of the things that the baby experiences. When do they start eating solid foods? How do you transition for first-time mothers? Of course, all that's new information. But even for mothers that have been mothers, maybe they just did what their mothers taught them to do, but they really didn't know what was proper. So that information to me is very important with helping mothers to be more patient, because when you have knowledge, now you already know what you're dealing with. If that baby is tugging at their ear, it's a possible ear infection, or maybe they're dealing with teething. You know some of the signs because you already have that information. So you can help to empower someone else that just may not know, and make motherhood a better process for them and the child. So definitely, I will be contacting you, Miss Domenica, Dr. Domenica. I love the work that you're doing.
I want to say something about what you just said. Doc, you are amazing, and thank you for shedding so much light. I'm over here taking notes, like, oops, I'm supposed to be paying attention. But it was so much good information about the transformation and the evaluators. That's so cute. But we were talking last week when I had to leave so quick out here, and what came up was sometimes when you see a mom, she may be a single mom or a young mom, she may have more than 4 children. You know, and then the conversation may happen, and those your babies, and she may say it kind of ashamedly, like, what we learned in this dialogue was that we should always encourage and give love to our moms when we see them. Them your babies? Oh, you got your whole squad.
Yes.
Look at your squad. What's her name? What's his name? We have to give love and give energy.
Or when you see a mom that's pregnant, I tell them all the time, congratulations.
That's going to be the next leader.
Yes.
You got to encourage them.
You'd be surprised some of the other things that they may hear that, you know, just kind of, you know, put them in a situation where they feel tormented or, you know, sad. Or
because of that. It makes them ashamed. The environment that they're probably around or in causes that. So what you just said, that touches on a very sensitive subject. That is very true. I like how you made that point. And you can give light and encouragement when you see that. Oh, okay. Baby.
Right. That's what that glow is about. That glow.
And sometimes you can see it from their disposition. You can tell, you know, that they're not really happy. So that, for me, encourage you know, helps you to encourage even more. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And that's what's for.
Go ahead, Dr. Domenica, definitely.
I just going to say that is a great example of love assets, right? Like, of like building that love around mothers that help to uplift them mentally, physically, emotionally in that moment. And if we can have a community of people that are uplifting mothers like that, oh my goodness, we would be transformed.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, you keep going with your work of transformation in the community. You know, Facebook family, this is one of our sheroes.
Yes.
And I just have to throw it out there because, you know, when people are doing the work that's uplifting the community that's around us, that all of us are part of, that helps you. That helps us.
Helps all of us. That's right.
It helps, and especially the research aspect of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was really impressed with that because a lot of us go in and we're doing the work, but the research that you're doing with, hey, we need to know where and why and when and, you know, where's all this coming from? Like, it's not coming out of thin air.
Right. Correct. Like, why Auburn Gresham? Because that's the third largest place in our city that has the highest numbers of infertility. That's real. That's real. I love that research.
Yeah, so you continue on. We congratulate you. Thank you so much.
Thank
We're sending you
you.
love and thanking you from Turn Up Life.
Yes. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
So you guys connect with her. Now, are you on social media as well?
Yeah.
Did you
You
say
can you can find us on Become on each Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Yeah, Become Center.
Okay, Facebook family, you guys go on and please donate something. You know, every little bit counts. I already know it does. So thank you so much, Dr. Domenica McBride in the house.
Thank you all.
Thank you, and you have a blessed one, Dr. Domenica.
Thank you.
Thank you. You all too. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, I love that.
She has such a nice presence.
She does.
You feel it, right?
Yep.
She's always
I
like
love
that.
her disposition.
Yes,
very
very calm.
And that's so necessary when you have a nonprofit, especially when you're in the community like that. You know, again, I'm sure there are people that are listening and that you already know. I'll give financially, but that's not really my thing. You know, you got to stay in your lane. You know, you have to have a heart of love and patience when you're dealing with, you know, situations that really need attention. It needs love. I mean, you have to put yourself on the back burner and put on that face what we talked about earlier. Sometimes that face is necessary when you're doing your work.
That's right.
You know, because whatever you're going through personally at that moment doesn't matter. You're putting in the work to help somebody else and help uplift them. So, wow. So listen, before we get going, did we get Professor Delaney on? Okay. We were waiting for Professor Delaney to come on. Okay, and if she's not on, I'm going to announce this for her because we've only got a few minutes. We always run out of time so fast. As a matter of fact, let's see who is tuned in and say a few things to you guys. Hopefully, that'll give her a few more minutes to get on. So, wow, let's see. Thank you, Sean Granberry. Tuning in, teaching young people how to heal is so important. Yes.
And Sean is in Oakland. He is the founder of hiphoptv.com.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, what is this organization about?
Oh, man, we're going to have him. Sean Granberry.
Okay.
Amazing. He's one of the also executive producers of what you remember, Unsung.
Yeah.
And they would go back into the lives of musicians and artists and Yeah, he's out of Oakland. Shout out to Brother
I
Sean.
love it. Okay, thanks for tuning in, Sean. Thank you so much. And absolutely, their healing is necessary. You know, it's funny because I was having this conversation with my sister, and we were talking about social media and just how that affects the youth in a way that it does not affect us. You know, in terms of the bullying and the you know, the negative comments. You know, at our beautiful ages. You know, we didn't really grow up in the era where, you know, that we were on the computer all the time.
Right.
So for me, I know, and my sister was saying this to me, she was like, you know, sis, I know you. She's like, in a minute, she'd be like, look, I don't know you. And I'm like that. I'm like, who's making a comment? Delete. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know you. I don't care what you're saying.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's not affecting me
Mm-hmm.
to that degree. And it's so funny because I was sharing a story with her, Jonathan McReynolds, gospel artist out of Chicago. So I wasn't really familiar with him at the time, and someone invited me to Gallery Gashard, where he was doing an event. And I came, I listened to his music, and I was just like, wow, he's cold. I'm loving this. You know, I had an interview with him. He was singing. And afterwards, he did, you know, a meet and greet. There was something that bothered me when he was doing his interview. He was saying how on his social media, at a certain point, he kind of pulled back because some of the comments were bothering him. Now, mind you, I didn't know him. This was my first time even hearing of him. I didn't even know how big he was when I met him. I'm horrible about that. But anyway.
Shout out to Josiah and Leonard Maddox, my nephews. They play for him. They
Oh,
drum for the
wow.
Keys.
Okay.
That's a really cool gig.
Yeah, so proud of him.
So I'm hearing him. I'm hearing his music. I'm hearing him talk. And when he got to that part and he said that really bothered me. So, you know, afterwards in the meet and greet, I was like, I'm going to, you know, go up and say something to him. So sure enough, I said, you know, sir, man, you are so talented, so God gifted. Don't ever let something that somebody's saying to you, you know, make you stop or pull back. You know, that's another person. So what? You know, about what they commented. And my sister was like, you know, but for the younger generation, because they're on it all the time, it's like it's their way of socialization. So kind of like when we were in school, and if you had a group of people maybe talking about you
Like
or
a
you
clique.
felt like a clique or something, then that may bother you. It may not, but it may, you know. So this is kind of their platform, you know, for that. Oh, wow, there's Professor Delaney, and I cannot answer. Okay, I got to take this, actually. Y'all keep going for a second.
No, but I think that's real. And Fisha, I think you know of that, being a musician and an artist yourself.
Absolutely. Right? And I had to definitely learn to just wean away from like any. Well, the thing is, you take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
That's what I've grown to learn. And as much as we all want to be desired and liked by everyone, that's just not the reality. And so you're gonna have the people that love you and just admire you, and then you have your handful of people. This is just gonna be like what we call haters, you know.
Because you've done the group thing, you've
absolutely,
done solo, you've traveled, you've
all
done
the
it
above,
all.
yes. And like I said, and of course, being in the industry that I'm in, of course, you get a lot of rejections. You learn to, you just kind of get used to a lot of no's. As many yeses as you get, you can get equally as many no's. So, you know, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You know, of course, I didn't always know that when I was younger.
Right.
You develop thicker skin.
Yeah.
You know, the more you encounter that kind of stuff. But I have to teach my daughters often.
Yeah,
not to allow the negative to penetrate.
That's right.
Their spirit.
And I think to that point, we have to continually build our children up
all the time.
You know, and we can do that in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Even with the self in the home.
Yes.
Beautiful pictures of, you know, African art.
It's
beautiful pictures of
necessary.
Whatever it is that builds them up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They like flowers, different bouquets. We have to do that part for us.
It does. And it starts, and it's funny because last night we took our daughters out.
Aww.
Yeah. And so my daughter, she wanted to put she looks so beautiful, natural. You know, my middle child, she has a keloid that grew from the industrial piercing she had when she was in high school. Really? That's another story.
Okay.
But she developed the keloid. So note to parents who have teenagers who want to get that little industrial piercing.
Now what's industrial? Is that on the?
It's inside of the ear, like well, it's like on the little top part here.
Okay.
That little kind of like the bone.
Yes.
around that bony area. I know, weird.
It's a lot. Okay.
Yeah. So again, the story is she developed a keloid as a result of this years later, and she's about to have it removed, but she has an insecurity about it, and she literally wanted to put a scarf over her cute hair because she's like, "Mommy, people look at it." And I said, "Who cares?" Like, honestly, only time I notice it is when you point it out.
Absolutely.
All people are seeing when they see you is your beautiful face. That's right. And I had to just really just boost her up, encourage her, and then after, of course, a little pep talk, she went out the house without the scarf, and she went out proudly. Yeah, but we do have to encourage that and invoke that assurance to, remind them, you know what? Who cares what people say and who cares what people think? Are they paying your bills? Are
That's
they,
right.
I mean, you wake up with you every day. You have to love what you see.
Absolutely.
So
and it's easy as that sounds, that's self-love.
But it helped in the moment for her because she took that scarf off and walked out the house. My mama
did that.
But like you said, it takes work. It takes work. And I'm going to finish with another comment before we bring Professor Delaney on. But she is on now. You guys can't see her on the screen, but she will be able to talk.
Oh, nice.
Okay. I wanted to finish with Jonathan McReynolds. So my sister was like, wow. She's like, girl, you didn't know who he was? I said, no, I didn't. I said, as a matter of fact, I called Unc. So I've got an uncle that has a big church in Texas. And he does, this big concerts all the time in this church. I was like, Unc, you got to get this guy on from Chicago. He's dope, He was like, he just left here last week. But my sister was like, but I'm sure he appreciated still hearing that from you.
Absolutely.
And he did. As we were talking, I was like, at the end of the day, you're too talented to allow something like that to affect you. But it goes back to the point that you guys were just talking about, that, hey, we don't realize the effect that all of that really has on them. And it takes constant work, like you said, Sister Africa. It does. We're just encouraging them and letting them know it's not about trying to live up to any social media standard. Be who you are and be proud. Right. So, Professor Delaney, can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, we can hear you.
Hello.
Hey, Sister Queen, how you feeling?
Yes. So before our show is out, we definitely want to have you talk about this film that will be aired coming up, you guys, in a few days on February 16th. On Instagram, and I hear Dusaba was helping to back it, and it is amazing that the project that I was reading up on. So can you share a little bit about what's going on?
I will. I'm going to speed talk because I want to say also congratulations to you on this show. Congratulations to you all. It is a growth.
Thank you. Thank you.
I picked me up one day and I tapped in, and it's very interesting as I expected. So what we have going on is the Sabo Museum is making history. We are the executive producers on a film project. It's based on a true story, Aluda Equiano. You might have heard about it if you took AFAM Lit. It's part of the Norton Anthology, and it's a pretty kind of popular story, at least in English or in Black studies sometimes. And so what we partner with this company, Stello Stories, and we have did this phenomenal, if I want to say so myself, phenomenal full feature movie. It's high tech. It's being released on Instagram at Equiano.stories, EQUIANO.stories on Instagram on February 16th. Also, we have an exhibit in the museum, in the Sabo Museum, that accompanies that, and you all are invited to that VIP reception 6 to 9 on the 16th, but people can come to it, open to the public during the day.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. That's
we'll definitely
awesome.
take you up on that offer. Thank you.
Wow. So do you want to go into just a little bit who Equiano was and his background? Igbo?
Yes, he's of Igbo culture. He was born in the Igbo land. So he was born in 1745, and he got so what I love about this story is that it starts in Africa. A lot of times, in the AFAM studies classes, students think that our history started in slavery, and they don't know about Africa. So what I love is unique about this, he's the first person to write his own narrative about enslavement. And so he starts in his loving family home with his family, and we get to see African culture before that even happens. The whole movie takes place while he's 11 years old, so it doesn't show his whole life, but at the end we tell you this phenomenal story, the other details. He ended up saving enough money to buy back his freedom, and then he crowdfunded and self-published his book to be a bestseller. You had to go to run 2 runs. He had 9, and then he went on to use his power and celebrity that he gained from the popularity of the book to help end slavery in England.
Wow, look at that.
Powerful.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's a very powerful story, and everybody should know it. A lot of the things that he was up against, we can relate to today, but yet he persevered, right? It's our story, the resilience, using your voice like you all are doing, using your voice, telling our own stories, and then helping others. Those are the core things of the movement.
Yes. Wow. And I think it's very important from the standpoint of, like you said, this is someone that's going back past, before what happened in America. It's so important that we connect with our ancestors. And I know a lot of times it's so sick to hear individuals, a lot of times those that have made it, those that are a little well-to-do, they don't want to hear about slavery. I don't want to hear that story. Listen, those are your ancestors. Those are our ancestors. Like, how can you not want to hear those stories? For me, are so powerful in terms of strength and resilience. Like, there's nothing about that I don't want to hear. Of course, it's sad. Of course, it's painful. You're not going to get away from that because that's what it was. But draw from that, pull from that in terms of, what it's meant to give you right now. Right. If you're thanking God and thanking your ancestors every day, you're thanking your ancestors for life. As a result of their sacrifice, their strength, their resilience, we're here.
That's right. I was just about to say that because of them, so are we. That's why the words of every stanza of Lift Every Voice and Sing are so important. I mean, even the third, Stony the road we try. All of that means so much for our existence, even in this Black-owned studio today.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Maze.
Yes, shout out to Maze Jackson. Yes. What's in it for the Black people media?
Come on.
Wow. So we got to announce once again, Instagram, correct, Professor Delaney?
Instagram, yes.
Equiano.stories.
EQUIANO.stories. The page is up now, so you can go follow them just so you don't miss it. And again, remember, it's not, even though it's slavery, it's like as if we as women, if we were raped before, right? Well, that's not my story, though. I had a life before that. That happened to me, you know? But
Absolutely.
I had a life before that. And then I triumphed over that, if that's the case, and that's his story. That's his story. So that's what we want the young people to see. We want the young people to be proud of their African heritage and know it. Yeah. So thank you all for having me.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Listen, and I have to say with that, what we just talked about with our youth, really that's the missing link for me because they're not connected. Because they don't know these stories, because they're not strengthened in that way. Now they're, everything is superficial, and it's, it's their outlook on life is just not what it should be because they're not connected.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's not either. It's nothing. Yeah.
So you guys that got that information, sit down and watch this with your children. With some family members, nieces, nephews, whoever, young people in the neighborhood. Equiano.stories on Instagram, February 16th. You don't want to miss it. That's all I can say. You don't want to miss it.
Come by and see me at the museum, too. Thank you.
And, yes, we will see you at the museum. I'm going to talk with the ladies when we get done. Thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you.
Love you so much, Professor Delaney. Keep on with your great work.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Peace and blessings.
She's awesome. That was great.
Absolutely.
What a show.
Guys, we are at 5:01.
We packed a lot.
We did.
We packed a lot.
Powerful sisters.
Yes.
Very good.
I hope you all enjoyed the show today. I've been seeing a lot of comments, lots of loves and likes. I
Vicky
can't even.
Stokes. Hey, Vicky.
Hey, Vicky.
And I got to give a shout out to the Oakland, California. I'm from Oxnard, by the way.
Okay.
Yes, I love that. Yes.
I see Ida. I saw Shanae on here. Yes. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Please catch us next Sunday, 4 p.m. Turn Up Life on Facebook. Also connect with us on Turn Up Life Next Level on Instagram. And we just encourage you to continue to celebrate you, elevate you, keep going, keep growing, and turn up life.
Yes.